Hey everybody, and welcome back to Video Game Esoterica and our continuing series on the 3DO M2 and the Konami M2. And today we're going to be taking a look at all the different paperwork and associated art I've collected for the console. Yes, I am foolish enough to collect paper as well. But getting right into it, here is the manual for the FC35S kiosk, and that's what's going to run a lot of the demos I've shown and released. It is in both English and French, so I'm assuming it must have had a release in France somewhere, although I've never seen one come out of Europe, so maybe they just planned on it and it never happened. But you get those two different languages, and the manual is quite rare, so I'm happy to have that. And kind of following along with that French theme, we have a magazine, CD Consoles, out of France, and it shows the original plastic molds for the M2 and some of the original artwork that was shown off, that dinosaur kung fu fight, Bessie the cow there, and a couple pre-rendered demos that never came to fruition and would never be able to run on the M2. But now we have Gamist EX, and this is the console version of the arcade magazine. And taking a look inside, we get the first preview of D2 for the M2, and it's all those different cinematics that I have shown throughout my series and translated over. And it's just kind of a quick look at what the original game looked like. And just taking a look here, you'll see a lot of the footage kind of copies over from those photos in the magazine as well. So it was one of the first things shown for M2 that was actually gameplay. Moving on to Next Generation Magazine. For the M2, they covered a lot of M2 stuff, and basically this is when they canceled the console, which was the biggest disappointment and kind of why I've always been curious about it ever since. And this is just when Matsushita and Panasonic decided they didn't want to go head-to-head against Nintendo, Sony, and Sega. But more Next Generation Magazine right here, and they're talking about Sony's new PlayStation. When we get inside, we're going to see as well that we have some alpha of D2. We've got the photographs right there, a lot of the stuff from the alphas of the gameplay I've showed, and just switching over to the next page, we see a lot of the same areas that I've shown in footage before. It's not my playable demo. I've never found a playable demo outside the small animation test, but you will see that a lot of the footage here from the VHS capture back in the 90s mirrors those screenshots, so you know where they were coming from. A lot of the poses were pre-programmed into the code itself. And another Next Generation magazine again. Next Generation and Edge seem to be the #1 people who were pushing M2 as hardware. And if we just take a look in, we're going to see that the specs for the M2 were revealed. Those dual 602 processors, the Bulldog GPU, a couple screenshots from D2, and that original plastic mold as well. But getting into some Japanese stuff, we have the official World Guide to D. This is a quite rare book. I got it some years ago, but now if you can find it, it's going to run you at least $100. But we have some advertisements and photographs of what D2 looked like, and they're just talking about the opening cinematic and everything that we saw in that footage earlier. And just flipping the page, you get a little bit more of those pre-renders that were done in-house at Warp with some story. I mean, honestly, I've already talked about the story, and it's really hard to translate over. But if you keep flipping, we do have that image on the right of Terran, and then we have some ads as well. These were run in magazines in Japan, so it gives you an idea of what ads were run and where they came from. And that's the official World Guide to D. Moving on to the arcade stuff, here's an original art kit for Toei Polystars as well as the flyer. Take a look at the flyer, it's got some really colorful, animation to it. Not animation, imagery. And then the back, you get a little bit of the gameplay. Collecting the flyers is actually quite difficult. I have 4 out of the 5 of them right now, and I've been trying to find one, but I can't. And here's just that little control card that would have gone on top of the candy cabinet in Japan when this game came out, as well as the little move strip here, just showing you the enemies, player 1, player 2. That is unused, and I'm happy about that. Now we have Evil Knight or Hell Knight, we've got the flyer for North America, we've got the manual, and we've got one of the 2 move strips. And it's a great game, I definitely recommend it. We have some playthroughs on the channel, but this is one of my favorite games on the platform. And around the back, it just gives you an idea of the story, the stages, the weapons, and just kind of promotes the game in case you were an arcade operator and wanted to buy it. And then here is the 1 move strip. There's 2, and this kind of just shows you how to do the special shot by holding the gun in a vertical position. And then one of my favorite items is I have the original side art unused for Evil Knight. One day I'll put it on a cabinet. For right now though, it's a little creased, but it stays in my collection waiting for the day that I build that cab. And then we're taking a look at Total Dice. I've got the Japanese and the North American flyer, as well as the conversion kit manual. I've got another manual that's not the conversion kit, but it's a little bit beat up and I want to show it. And then around the back, you get story details, you get weapon details, just all those kind of a little bit of flavor text to make you want to get the game. And then for Battle Tryst, this is the original arcade card that would have gone on top of the cabinet, and definitely colorful, a lot of fun. I got that out of Japan, and 2 original move strips as well that are unused. I don't think I would ever use these. I think I would probably just place them near to the arcade cabinet. And then, as I've shown before, I have the original shipping box for Battle Tryst. I've never seen an M2 box before. This may be one of one, who knows. I particularly love the flyer for Battle Tryst. It's got a lot of good artwork on the front because it has that definite anime feel to it. And taking a look around the back, just like all the other flyers, you kind of have those photos and just some information. But what I just recently got in was a full art kit for the World Soccer Championship, or Heat of 11. Have that move strip and the arcade cabinet top card there, as well as these two different standees that I've never seen before. I was able to find those. They were sent in from someone from Italy as a gift, and I really appreciated that. And then just the actual manual for the game itself, which completes my manual collection. I have all the manuals for all the games, so that's definitely fun to have. But taking a look at Gamist, they had a lot of advertisements and information for the M2, and getting right into it, we're going to see some of the hidden characters from Battle Tryst. We have some of the general idea of the story here, and those are actually not the hidden characters, those are standard characters, but you get a full moveset from them, and so you can be able to play the game, because I published the moveset as a PDF, but it's kind of nice to get it with all this different color here when they were promoting the game. And Konami did promote the hell out of M2. There's ads all over Gamist for all the games, and there's ads on the back and information, and now you get a little sense of the hidden characters and what dates they were going to release on the time release schedule. But Konami definitely tried everything they could to make these games successful. Now, none of them were really big hits. I think they're all pretty good. Some are good, some are great, but they never really hit in arcades like everything else. But moving on to this next Gamist magazine right here, around the back you have an ad for Battle Tryst, and there's ads for pretty much every Konami M2 game possible except for Evil Knight. I've never been able to find any Japanese ads or any Japanese art from them. And in here we have a little bit of like a playthrough FAQ walkthrough for Tobey Polystars with some really nice level layouts. Don't know where that artwork came from, if it was internal to Konami or something Gamist made, but I love looking at that kind of like background art and little things like that. And in the same issue as well, we have these sketches over here of Tobey Polystars, some of the original concept art. I've never seen it before outside getting this magazine, and I definitely love being able to look at that. And if we turn it around the back, we get that ad for Total Vice, which is very similar to the arcade flyer, just showing that Konami did buy a lot of ads for their games. And the last thing we have to look at here is this last Gamist magazine, and if you turn it around in the back, that is the World Soccer Championship, or Heat of 11, a flyer that I've been looking for a very long time. But there you go, that's my entire paperwork collection for the M2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Do us a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe. Got another video on Sunday as well as Tuesday, but thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye.